freedom to live and breathe because they will throw you in a cell. And I guess, perhaps I don't want to be too forgiving. I'm often called too nice. I don't even know this. I'm called too nice far too often. But I sit and I analyze, and you have to understand that although they're destroying my life, I don't take it so personally because I very much understand why they're doing it. And I understand the enemy I have chosen. I feel like the best thing I can be in this situation is to not be emotional about what's happening to me. Because if I'm emotional, I don't think it allows me to think rationally. And I look at it very simply, and I ask the people at home who don't believe in the Matrix, think of it this simply. If you owned a company and you had members of staff, and you wanted your members of staff to act in a certain way, and you had a couple members of staff who continually defied your orders and wouldn't do as you told them or asked them to do, even though what you need them to do is to the best interests of the company as a whole. They're coming along and acting different than you want them to act, and it's damaging your bottom line. You would fire them. Well, you can think of the world as a company, and they have decided that certain ideas are good for them. I disagree. They've decided that certain moral standings and geopolitical decisions are good for them. And of course, I disagree. And I'm the bad employee. And unfortunately for them, people are listening to me talk. So now I'm inspiring a little rebellion around the water cooler on the lunch break. And they've thought, well, we have to stop this. And they've come along and are using the tools they have at their disposal. And first, they're going to slander you and cancel you everywhere and try their very best to convince the world you're a bad person. And if that fails, they will throw you in jail. And I understand why they're doing what they're doing. I'm not personally offended, if that makes sense. I understand the battle I'm in. Maybe I should be offended. Maybe I should wake up and say they've taken all my money and they're taking me away from my children. They're wasting my life. Maybe I should care. But when they come to arrest me, I'm very much like, well, this is the game we play. It's like losing a character, and it's like losing a little piece in checkers. You took my piece. That's the game. And perhaps I'm too rational about it. But anybody at home who doesn't understand that it's really that simple, that if you owned a company, you wouldn't allow bad employees to inspire a rebellion against the company. And the governments don't allow individuals to speak too much truth about how evil these governments are. Now, the problem with all of this is that I'm on the right side of history and I'm right. And they're wrong, and they're genuinely evil. That's the problem with all of it. The problem with all of it is I'm actually the good guy. But they don't see it that way. They see themselves as the good guy. I am the bad guy because I will not wear a dress. And therefore, I must pay the price.
Yeah, it's an inversion. Let's get back to the Matrix then. Let's go into the prison stuff first. So on the day of your arrest, the first arrest, not yesterday, what were you looking forward to the most in your life? What were your plans?
I had a flight booked for that day. I had a jet on the runway, fully fueled. I was intending on flying back to Dubai. I only came to Europe for 4 days. I came to London to have a conversation with Piers Morgan. And then I stopped in Prague, and then I stopped in Vienna. And then from Vienna, do I fly directly to Dubai? Because I intend on being in Dubai for the next 3 or 4 months. But then I decided to repack my suitcase. I thought, I've had the same clothes for a while and I'm filmed everywhere I go. It's all on TikTok. I should probably change. So I flew and I landed here at 7 p.m. and my intention was to take off at 10 a.m. I landed, I packed my bag, I went to bed. And then at 5 a.m., friends came to visit me. And that was the beginning of a saga which is going on for 2 years now. I've not left this country. I've only recently been able to leave this city. I've been under some form of arrest for 422 days, I believe.
Let's suspend that moment, because when the SWAT team came for me, I had all these plans. We were going to move to California and Arizona, all this stuff. Door smashes down, they open up, and it's like time slows down and everything goes upside down.
Yeah.
Did something like that happen for you?
I'll be honest with you. The first emotion I felt was relief, because when I heard the door getting busted in, I grabbed a machete near my bed, and I thought it was the other guys. I thought it was the other team of enemies, because anybody who reaches a certain echelon of life, you have two enemies. You have the law, and you have the other team, right? They're opposite teams. You're in a web, and there's two spiders. So I thought it was the Albanians or something. So when I first saw police, for a fraction of a second, I was like, oh, thank God, it's only the cops. No big deal. So they started waving guns around and being overly aggressive. And I was like, all right, okay, calm down. What's this all about? And they weren't very forthcoming. The first word the police officer said to me is, "Where's your Bugatti?" First word. It's like, why do you care where my Bugatti is? Because they wanted to seize the Bugatti. Almost as if this whole thing was financially motivated, which would be pretty interesting. I was actually speaking to one of my friends the other day. I was saying this to somebody. I was saying, I wonder if governments are astute enough to look at somebody with a bunch of money and think, you know what? You know who will definitely not use any kind of international loopholes or international business banking or be clever with their accounting? You know who will just pay their 50% tax on time? Their lawyers. If we screw this guy with $1 million a month in legal fees, we get $500,000 a month. So let's just tie him up with this shit for 4 years. I wonder if they actually think that way. We can get PC Plod and give him, he's on 33 grand a year. We can make him file some papers and mess with this guy, and we can get $500,000 a month out of this dude. And they don't care whether you're guilty, innocent. They're uninterested. I don't know if they ever operate that way or think of it that way, but I think it literally can come down to that.
Okay, in America, it's called civil asset forfeiture laws, and it's got to the point now where if kids are driving around their parents' cars and there's in the car, they keep the vehicle. It's all about seizing people's assets.
Wow.
Yeah, you got jacked.
And this is the thing. Then you go deeper down the rabbit hole of the Matrix, because especially people inside of that fish tank, they don't understand that you don't own anything. I keep saying this to people. The number of people who come to me and say, Andrew, why are you fighting this fight? Why don't you just give up? As if I'm some kind of coward, as if that was ever an option for me. I'm sure for the average person that would be an option, but the average person wouldn't end up where I am. So no, I don't give up and I don't quit and I'm stubborn and you're gonna have to kill me because that's who I am. But the average person's like, if I had your money, I'd just buy a few houses around the world and I'd just go on holiday and sit on the beach.